welcome back again to Shoshi's Crafts after a long absence. Since I revamped my art haven, I haven't been able to set up my video camera, but I've now got a marvellous rig that a friend of my husband's made for me, and I'll be doing a video about that in due course. But I've also been extremely busy with lots of projects which I've got to do because everybody in our family and friends seems to be having special events this year, so it's kept me really busy. Now, the project I'm going to do today is a birthday card for my husband, and last year he fell in the river when he was out on his boat, and he lost one of his wellies, which is probably halfway to America by now. But anyway, I thought it might be rather fun to make a mechanical card of him on his boat and then a big splash inside as a pop-up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, this is my waste paper basket, which is full of all the rubbish from all of the mock-ups and first attempts that I did on this card. So get rid of that. And I've got lots of little bits and pieces of mock-ups and tracings and all sorts of things which I've done, and this was the first kind of mock-up that I did. It's got 3 sections that fold over. And the mechanism goes in the middle. There's a slot there that goes through, and this is the disc that makes everything work, and that's the boat. And there's a moving wave and another moving wave, and when you work the lever everything happens, and so that folds over. Those go through slots in there, and that folds over, and you've got a static wave there and a static wave along the top, and I'm going to put some clouds and the sun and things in there, and that's the little boat. So that was the first mock-up. Okay, and when I did it, it came out much too tall and narrow, so I've redone the whole thing using the same basic measurements, but just making the whole thing twice as wide. So it's now 8 inches wide, and I've got lots of instructions on here telling me what to do. So that's this is just some scrap card that I had from other projects, but now I've got all this fixed up, except that those have to go through slots in this piece, which will then be folded down. But I'm not going to do that at the moment. Or what I'm going to do, just put that on there, and then this is that's going to be glued onto there eventually, which is a bigger piece which will have the sky on it. And this border that I've drawn around, that's going to be a frame which will stick out another ½ inch around, which will just cover up the edges of this mechanism. So I'll just hold that there. This will be glued eventually round there, but hopefully this will work, and you'll see what happens. The waves go up and down, and the little boat goes up and down a bit. You get the general idea. It's the first time I've done something like this, and it's taken quite a lot of thought and effort, so I hope it's going to work out okay. Then the whole of that, when that's done with the frame around and so on, that will be stuck onto a card which is the same size as the frame, which will then open, and on the inside there'll be pop-up, which will be like water splashing out, and it'll have a welly in it as well. So that's the welly that he lost when he fell in the river. And on the front it says, "On your birthday," and then on the inside it will say, "Make a big splash." Okay, so that's how far I've got so far. So I've just got to start choosing the card now, and I think the back piece I'll do in pale blue, and then I'll cut out the sun and the clouds and stick those on. And I haven't quite decided about the waves yet, whether to do them in white card or blue, but I want it to get slightly darker as it comes down, and then I shall paint with acrylic paints, and then probably on the crests of the little waves I shall put maybe some perfect pearls or some stickles or something just to catch the light. And the boat will be brown, and probably the person in the boat, I'm not sure about that, but keep it quite simple I think. So that's it. So see you a bit later on when I've done a bit more. Well, here we are back again. This is the next day. I've been doing quite a bit overnight. That's my mock-ups. This is what I've done with this. I printed and cut this on the computer. I did those in Serif Draw Plus, and then I put a little bit of glitter on. This has been inked with Tim Holtz Distress Ink in Faded Jeans, and I've recently discovered these marvellous ink dusters by Inkylicious, and it's a lot easier to use than a little sponge applicator, and you can really fade it in nicely, which is good. So I've done a little bit of inking on there. I'll hold that up a bit closer and you can see. And I shall probably paint those fish, put a little bit of colour on there. Unfortunately, I'd put a note for myself on the mock-up to make that wave come up there a little bit more, because that dip down there shows the mechanism. So once I'd done all this, I forgot about that when I made it up. So what I've had to do is make this bit come up 1/4 of an inch, the bottom there. But there will be a frame around, so that will hide that. So that's what I've done so far. That piece has been folded over. You can see that, and this is just grotty card. It doesn't need to be anything special for the inside, and that's been glued down there, there and there, leaving those bits exposed because there's a slit there for the waves to come out. And I've designed the waves on Serif Draw Plus from my mock-up, and I've cut them using Make the Cut and my Cricut machine. So I've got all the files for these are now saved. So I haven't got that quite right, but once I get the disc in, that'll all come together. So I'm going to put some more inking on that so that you'll see a bit more shading on that. And then I'll probably put a little bit of white acrylic paint on the tops and some more glitter just to give it a little bit of sparkle on the edge. So that's what I've done so far. I haven't done the boat yet. That's still on the mock-up. I haven't designed the boat. So I shall do a bit more and then record a bit more for you.